If you don't do what I tell you to do, we're divorced. And he handed me with divorce papers. Sooner or later, this was bound to happen. All right, then let's get a divorce. What? I filled up the divorce papers in front of him. All right then, I'll fight it. It was he gave me the divorce papers, but for some reason he's stunned. You don't get it, do you? Without me, you'll be all alone by yourself. Yeah, all alone by myself. Is that all you want to say? Then that's enough. I'm busy with packing for moving out. What are you packing for moving out? What? It's obvious, isn't it? I'm going to divorce you and move out. It's a perfect timing in the end. My name is Sarah. I married my husband Jason a few years ago. We're childless and we both work. My parents died in an accident in my first year of work, and I've been all alone ever since. I was really appreciated when we got married. I wanted to make my own family with him. I want 2 children. I had such high hopes for a bright future. However, the reality was far from that. After our wedding, Jason's attitude gradually became cold. Sarah, if I'm gone, you'll be a loner all over again. Jason would always bring up this phrase whenever we got into a small argument. He would attack me by my weaknesses, and would always get into a fight because he complains about my housework. Is it stir vegetables for dinner tonight? The dish is for old people. Didn't I call you to ask what you want to eat today? You said whatever. Yes, but I still think a housewife should think what her husband wants to eat and cook it. I was in the mood for paella today. Then say so. You should know without asking. You'd complain no matter what I cook. What? What did you say? I work just as hard as you do, and I'm the only one who takes care of the housework. Don't talk like that. You said before we got married that you like doing housework. It's true, I like it, but if you're always complaining about it, I don't want to do it anymore. I see. What? No, I just thought you were being cheeky. Cheeky? If you're making that comment, it means you think less of me. I don't like that about you either. You're always reading into things. I don't want a wife who talks down to me like this. Here we go again. Next, you just start shaking up the fact that I'm alone in the world. And then another synonymous statement from Jason that he always says, well, maybe having kids will make your loneliness go away. Maybe it's time for us to have kids too. Jason never forgets to say this after an argument. When we just got married, I wanted to have a baby right away, but early on in our marriage, the husband who had been so kind to me was gone. Now that he has turned into the man who just complains, I'm hesitant about having children with him. It's true that I have no other relatives than Jason, but before I married him, I was living on my own. I have enough money to save. I'd rather not go back to being alone, but there are times when I would rather go back to being alone than have Jason threaten me. If I had a child, I would spend the rest of my life being abused by him, and he would abuse me in front of them. When I think about it, I just can't help it. I couldn't move forward with Jason, but he didn't like this either. Before we got married, you said you wanted kids right away. So why are you so unreluctant about having a baby after we got married? This is fraud, isn't it? If that's the case, why don't you make me feel comfortable to have kids? Huh? Are you going to complain about my cooking even in front of the kids like that? And complaining about my housework? Or about the way I fold the clothes. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying what I think. That's just how it sounds to you because you're pessimistic. I guess your personality gets distorted if you don't have parents in your childhood. That's what I'm saying. What do you mean? You're making a fool out of me. I'm not making a fool out of you. Jason replies with a goofy grin. The look on his face is the best proof that he's making a fool out of me. And to top it off, there's my mother-in-law. Any grandchildren yet? That's what I'm always asked when I visit my parents-in-law's house. That's right. You should tell her too. She's not helping at all. Sarah, what's going on? My mother-in-law stares at me. I couldn't say anything. Well, I guess there are things going on. Jason, you should talk it over with Sarah. I talk to her all the time. But this woman... Don't call her this woman. Just make sure you and Sarah talk it out, okay? Okay, I understand. My mother-in-law doesn't talk too much. She's been living alone ever since her husband died. She's not a bad person, but she's always saying, any grandchildren yet? And it's really tough on me. I can tell she's really looking forward to it, so I could never tell her that. I'm not sure if I want to marry your son because of his personality. I had no choice but to keep my mouth shut. Then my mother-in-law had an accident. I got a call from Jason and left work early to rush to the hospital. I guess I arrived early than he did. I'm sorry for disturbing you. Mother, are you all right? I'm fine. As you can see, I'm well. It's just that, I broke a bone in my leg. Oh my God, you don't have to cry like that. I just burst into tears. I'm sorry. I was afraid I might also lose you by an accident. I was so worried on the way here. Oh, well, I guess he didn't tell you well. I'm sorry I made you worried. I'm sorry you had to remember what happened to your parents. This was the first time my mother-in-law and I talked about a lot of things. You should go home now. No, but I'll wait for Jason to come. I'll go home with him. Then my mother-in-law sighed. He's not coming, so you can just go home. That's not true. I'm his mother, I know. It's sad, isn't it? And my mother-in-law was right. He didn't show up even after visiting hours. When I came home, he was watching TV. What are you doing? What do you mean? You called me to tell that your mother had an accident today, didn't you? So why did you come to the hospital? Oh, I thought you were going. One is enough, right? She's alive anyway, right? Then it's not a big deal. She's the only mother you have, right? Shut up. Just make me some food. I'm hungry. You haven't eaten? Of course not. Why should I spend my own money when you're going to cook? I am not doing it. I'm not cooking. I'm going to bed. Don't you dare talk to me like that. You know, if you make me angry, you'll divorce me, right? Then do it. I was hungry, but I was so annoyed by what Jason said and did that I stayed in the bathroom, determined not to cook a meal for him. The next morning, I woke up and he was already gone, and from that day on, he never came home. I guess he was hiding out at his parents' house. I just left him there. After work that day, I rushed to the hospital where my mother-in-law was. I didn't tell her about Jason. I didn't want to cause unnecessary worry to my mother-in-law, who was in the hospital. I went to visit her every day while she was hospitalized. Thank you so much, Sarah. I know you and Jason are not getting along. Thank you so much for looking out for me in that situation. I'm sorry. You don't have to apologize. I could imagine what happened when we know that you didn't want to have kids. He must have done something to you. I didn't know what to tell my mother-in-law. All I could do was keeping silent. A woman's intuition can be right. He's the one who made you worry about having children, so it's okay now. I was looking forward to having a grandchild too, and I drove you into a corner by asking you over and over again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't live up to your expectations too. It was just as we were having this conversation that the doctor told us that the treatment would take more time. But she's about to discharge it from the hospital. She lives alone. She will need someone to help her until her legs heals. So I came forward to help her. I talked to the company about it, and they gave me permission to work remotely on a limited timeline. When I told my mother-in-law about it, she felt sorry for me to go through that, but I persuaded her strongly. On the day of the discharge from the hospital, I picked up my mother-in-law and arrived at my in-laws' house, but it was awkward to see Jason. He should still be at work at this time. I was supposed to meet him at night, and as the evening approached, I felt uncomfortable. My mother-in-law is looking at me strangely. Actually, we had a bit of fight with Jason, and he left the house, so we'll be seeing each other for the first time in a while today. My mother-in-law is looking awkward. See each other where? This is the only place I can think of where he would go. Then my mother-in-law's face turned stern. I see. I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing? Jason is your precious son. I'm sure you're uncomfortable with the fact that I blame him for our quarrel. No, not at all. He's the kind of boy who never comes to visit me. What? He never came to visit you? No, never. I was mortified. My mother-in-law was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and he didn't visit her once during that time? What an asshole! Well, he's not a sweet boy, is he? Well, you mean... Sarah, I need you to calm down and listen to me. He doesn't have a key to this place, so he is not here. That means... It's okay, I have an idea. Let's talk about you and me first. And then my mother-in-law made me a surprise offer. A week passed, and I was back in the house where I lived with Jason, packing my bags. As I was packing my bags, I heard the front door open. Oh, just in time. I wanted to talk to you. I'm busy. How's Mom doing? Why don't you come see her for yourself? Huh? You're the one taking care of her, so I don't have to go. I mean, you're the one who's supposed to be taking care of Mom. If you don't do what I tell you to do, we're divorced. And he handed me with divorce papers. Sooner or later, this was bound to happen. All right, then let's get a divorce. I filled up the divorce papers in front of him. All right, then, I'll fight it myself. Jason was the one who gave me the divorce papers, but for some reason, he's done. You don't get it, do you? Without me, you'd be all alone by yourself. Yeah, all alone by myself. Is that all you want to say? Then that's enough. I'm busy getting ready to move out. Why are you getting ready to move out? What? Oh, it's obvious, isn't it? I was going to divorce you and move out. It's a perfect timing in the end. Then who will take care of Mom? Don't worry. I'll be there for your mother. Ha ha! You are an idiot. You know what? You won't get your inheritance by sticking up for my mom. When mom dies, I'll be the one to get the inheritance. I'm the only son. You're not my son anymore. Jason's eyes widened in surprise when my mother-in-law came out of my room. Huh? Why are you here, Mother? You need nursing care, don't you? I was here to help Sarah move out. You stupid bastard. I can move on my own with these crutches. My only child is Sarah. I don't need a child who is after my inheritance even when I'm not dead yet. You won't get anything. I'm divorcing her. Then she's not entitled to the inheritance. I'm in the process of adopting a child. What? I'm also in the process of disqualifying you from inheriting. You won't get any penny of my money. You old hack. That's what I wanted, kids. I knew this bitch would disqualify me. If I have kids, the grandchildren will be entitled to mom's inheritance. I told you, we needed kids as soon as possible. You're really hopeless. You're an idiot, more than anyone can imagine. If you have a child, I'll disqualify that child from inheriting again. Fuck you, you old bitch. Jason tried to grab my mother-in-law. I quickly pushed him away, pulled my mother-in-law by the hand and left the house. Hey, are you his wife? A strange woman was standing in front of our house. Oh, it's you. You're the one he's having an affair with. What? Well, for now, did you write the divorce papers? Please get out of this house as soon as possible. I see. So Jason had rolled into this person's house. I was surprised by the woman's sudden visit, but I had zero feelings about Jason's affair. I was rather excited that I could get alimony for this. And then Jason came after us. He flinched when he saw the face-to-face with his girlfriend. You're the one who made her wait here. So, you were having an affair. Thank you. I'll make sure I get my alimony. Jason stood there stunned. My mother-in-law and I get into the car and drove away with him standing there. Then we went to the city office and filed the divorce papers. After that, I demanded alimony from both of them as I had declared. They made excuses, but their intense relationship was easily exposed through the free-spirited girlfriend's social media. They both transferred large sums of money to me. The cheating partner was after my mother-in-law's inheritance. She disappeared from my ex-husband's life as soon as she found out that he was not going to get his inheritance. I guess they were very much alike, both after money. And Jason came to my parents-in-law's house many times to try to get back together, but his mother refused to see him. I blocked his contacts early on, so he couldn't call me. A couple of times he called me from an unknown number, but I don't have to deal with unknown number. Since then, my mother-in-law's leg has recovered completely and she is doing very well with no after effects. I'm very grateful to my mother-in-law for suggesting to stop me. And now, several years later, I'm still enjoying my life with my mother-in-law. I'm no longer alone. We can be a royal family if we care for each other, even if we are not connected by blood. I will continue to spend my life with my mother-in-law, my mother. It's unforgivable to take your wife's weakness and do whatever you want to her, and his reason for wanting to have children are terrible. He will never be happy. I hope Sarah and her mother will be happy in the future. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel if you like. See you in the next video.